Spoiler alert, I'm playing the Ritual. And the Fusion.
Baby, I'm here.
How's it going, YouTube? It's BraxtonComix here, bringing you guys another deck profile. This one is going to be for, as you can see, Blue Eyes. This is a deck that I think a lot of us fans of the original series have to play at some point, and I think this is the best time for me to do the deck profile. I have really been procrastinating on doing this deck profile, to be honest, but that's really because I've been missing my second copy of Spirit Dragon, and really no other excuse. So, the Worlds deck, I've seen both variants, they're not that bad. They're really good, obviously, if they can get them to the top two. But as you saw at the beginning, I am playing the Ritual and Fusion variant. I'm just trying to play something different that isn't really based on what it's normally, regularly meant to play with. So the Ritual is something that I've had fun testing with for a long time now, and I haven't really had too much play testing recently, so yeah, I'm gonna have to get back to play testing. So without further ado, let's get to it. We have to start off, of course, with the 3 OG Art Blue Eyes White Dragon. These, you gotta play 3 of this no matter what. Blue Eyes is Blue Eyes. You gotta have all 3 in the world in order to make the deck work. Same thing with 3 copies of Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon. It's a free special summon just by revealing the OG Blue Eyes at hand. So good. Burst Room of Destruction effect for 1 monster, and just use it for Synchro and Xyz bait afterwards. Such a strong effect. I play 2 copies of Dragon Spirit of White. This thing is just too good. In the graveyard, special summon it by Return of the Dragon Lord, special summon from the effect of White Stone of Ancients, pop a back row, banish it. So good. Only problem with it, I don't like, is that it has 2500 attack and 2000 defense. So that's a bit problematic at some point, but again, we really use it for Synchro and Xyz bait. Next up, the boss monster of my variant, 2 copies of Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. In my previous testing, I found that 2 is better because I break if I draw the 3rd, and I can search this out pretty easily with Manju. So really, you only need 2. I don't like 2 because, again, it can break, and sometimes you don't have the Ritual spell, you've had to discard it to get other searches off, so you really don't need any more than 2. I've seen variants that play 3, so I think that's really because they play Max C in the main deck, which I don't. So I might switch out a couple of cards in the main deck for Max C and some other hand traps later on, but for now this is what I got. 3 copies of the White Stone of Ancients. This thing is the best tuner in the deck, apart from Sage. If this card's discarded, you can play so many different effects. Banish it from the grave to add a Blue Eyes back to your hand, and that includes the Ritual if you have a Ritual spell at hand, and if you haven't banished it by the end of the turn, you can special summon Blue Eyes monster from your deck. That can, of course, include Dragon Spirit of White, which is so good, so you can banish out a back row during the end phase. This thing is so nice. I also still play 1 copy of the White Stone of Legend, and that's really because I want to have that extra searcher for the original Blue Eyes if I don't have any at hand, if I don't have Melody either. Again, this is also another Cards of Constance target, so I don't see why playing it is bad. Following up with the other tuners, 3 copies of Sage with Eyes Blue. This thing is so nice. I don't really normal summon it too often, and you'll see why when I actually get to the extra deck. It's like that 1 in maybe 6 to 10 games I actually normal summon him for that 1 Synchro that I play. Really, I use its effect on Manju after I normal summon it and get its search off. Gotta play 3 of this, obviously, there's no better number for it. So yeah, I really do like activating Sage on Manju because he's only a 1400 offense. It's not the biggest guy in the entire deck, so exchanging Manju for a Dragon Spirit of White, that's so nice. During your turn, it's even better. And that's all the monsters. I've completely lost count of how many monsters that is, to be honest, so just bear with me. This is a 40 card even, I think, so for the spells, 1 Dragon's Mirror, you don't really go into the fusions that often, but if you could top deck this in the worst case scenario, this is really nice. 1 copy of Twin Twisters. There isn't too much back row removal in this deck apart from the Dragon Spirits of White, and 1 Twin Twisters I found is enough. In the testing that I've gone through, there isn't too much back row that you have to worry about, so yeah. I also play one copy of Swords of Concealing Light. I'm actually surprised at how much work this put in at Worlds, because I saw several decks, even the Medolce player, playing one of this. But it's really nice. I side deck 2 more just in case I come up against a match that I know I'm going to need multiple copies of, but I play 1 trap card in the deck that kind of does the same thing. So, I believe that's all the 1-ups. For our searchers, 3 copies of the Melody of Awakening Dragon. Best searcher in the deck. It's essentially a reinforcement of the army just for Blue Eyes. It's so good. The pitch effect is really nice as well, because you can get a search off at some point, whether it be for the original White Stone or the White Stone of Ancients, or if you just need to pitch a Blue Eyes to grave so you can activate one of your 3 copies of Return of the Dragon Lords, aka Gospel of Revival. This thing is more than once per turn. It's so good. I feel like this might be one of the very few hits that Blue Eyes takes if they get hit by the next ban list, which I don't think is too big of a problem. I think Silver's Cry would be okay as well, but if this goes to 1 or 2, that will hurt the deck a little bit. I don't want to say too badly, because I think they can recuperate from losing 1 or 2 of these things, so don't want to worry about it too much right now. Next up, our draw power of the deck, 3 copies to trade in, and 2 cards of Constance, the infamous Brick draw card. Oh man, this is the whole reason our guy lost Worlds. But this is still a really strong draw power. We have so many targets for level 8s, including Chaos Max, and if we discard the White Stone of Ancients, as I said, we can banish the White Stone of Ancients for Chaos Max when we get the ritual at hand, which a lot of times actually happens. Next up are the ritual spells. I'm kind of on the fence about this ratio. It's 3 copies of Advanced Ritual Art and 1 Chaos Form. I'm honestly heavily considering taking out one of the auras for another Chaos Form, because I go through the deck really fast with searching out all my vanillas. So a lot of times I have my Blue Eyes either in the grave or at hand. So again, 2 or 2 I think would be better, but for now I think I just have, well, obviously I do, I have 3 Advanced Ritual Art of the deck. Finally, I play the 2 traps that are very similar to that of Swords of Concealing Light. That is 2 copies of Curse of Anubis. This is one of the last cards I think you'll ever expect to see in a Blue Eyes deck. And it's really good, especially in the grind game, if you're going up against something that can OTK you like Blue Eyes. And if you can flip this successfully, then all your opponent's monsters will go to defense and their defense becomes 0. And if you can activate 1 on your turn, which is really possible in this deck, if you can Ritual Summon Blue Eyes Chaos Max, you should be able to win, because this card makes their defense go to 0, which is so cool. So yeah, 2 Curse of Anubis is a really cool trap tech that I chose a while back after seeing a couple of Dev Pro replays, and it's really cool. I really do think it should be given a try. So next up, the extra deck, 1 copy of the OG Ultimate Dragon. This is of course food for Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. This is the thing you want to go with Dragon's Mirror all the time. I play 2 because it has the recursion effect in the graveyard, so if you have only one of these on the field and it's able to attack multiple times, you can banish the 2nd copy from your graveyard later if you absolutely have to negate a card, which is so cool. 1 copy of Twin Birth Dragon. This is mostly also food for Neo Blue Eyes Ulti, simply because it's not always the card you want to go with. I mean, it's okay if you do, but it's really niche, I think. It's cool for what it is. We got a 2-headed Blue Eyes, which I think is long overdue, but I don't think it's as good as it was in the Shiny Victories format. 2 copies of Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. One of the best secrets to come out of Shiny Victories. For good reason. It's a floodgate for pendulums. 3k ass, which is so good, and if it ever would be destroyed by a card effect like Raigeki or something, you can just tribute it and then special summon another Synchro Dragon that's like level 7 or 8, I think. Or really, I think it's just any light Dragon Synchro, which is really cool. Next up is 1 copy of Azure Eye Silver Dragon. Gotta play one of this no matter what. It's so good. Special summons your guys back from the grave. I'm also taking in 1 copy of Cloud Castle in case that one time ever comes up where I can play this and go into my 1 rank 9, which is really cool. Going through the deck profile, I'm just now realizing that I'm missing my 1 and only copy of Stardust Spark Dragon, so if anybody has one, please hit me up. Stardust Spark Dragon is so good in this deck, and that's one reason why I think it's possible to make Cloud Castle in this deck. So, Stardust Spark Dragon is a must in this deck, I think. It's really, really nice. Next up is one copy of Armade's Keeper of Boundaries. I really do like this as well. This is what I was talking about if I ever normal summon the Sage, if I already have a Manju on the field. So this is a really nice attacker. There's nothing else I can really say about this. Your hand can get filled with the tuner monsters pretty easily. So you can play Armades if you want. It's really all up to you. Next up are the Xyz. One copy of number 38, Hope Harbinger, Dragon, Titanic Galaxy. Negates a spell card once per turn, which is really good. I would even consider this a floodgate because it stops one of your opponent's spell cards from going off in a turn, which usually they try and go for their strongest spell right out of the gates. So if it's a Stormforth or Pantheism, anything that's spell related, this thing will stop and attach to itself as material, which is so cool. I always loved Xyz monsters that can take other players' cards and attach it to itself as material. That's so cool in my opinion. Next up is the Galaxy Eyes Patrol. Galaxy Eyes, Prime Photon Dragon, Full Armor, and Dark Matter. I unfortunately do not have Cypher Dragon at the moment, so yeah, I haven't been to locals recently where Dragons of Legend Unleashed has been released, so this is what I got so far. I love Cypher Dragon as it is. It looks so nice as an Xyz monster, and as a card in general, it's super broke. So yeah, in all honesty, I'd probably switch out the Prime for Cypher Dragon, just because it's another name. Maybe, I don't even know, I'd probably even put it in and take out Armades. I think that'd probably be the best thing. And finally, one rank 9 in the form of Phantom Fortress Interblathnier. I decided to play this over Heliopolis for a couple of reasons. Heliopolis targets cards, which is something that a lot of us try to look against in the current meta. With Phantom Fortress Interblathnier, if you read any of his effects, none of them target, which is really good. So you can either banish one card your opponent controls, banish one random card from your opponent's hand, banish a card from their graveyard, or banish the top card of their deck face up, which is so good. And he's a 2900 attacker, which is really, really good. It's sometimes hard to get over, but it's always really good if you ever get him off. Again, I don't get this thing off too often, but when I do, these effects are really, really good. And they're really worth giving a look at. Again, these effects don't target, which is something we're always looking for in the current format, so yeah. And with that, YouTube, that concludes my Blue Eyes deck profile. Thank you all again so much for watching. I don't have a side deck this time around because we're really shifting into the next format pretty soon, and I don't know what to side other than a couple of Winter Cherries, which I still don't have, so if anybody can hook me up for cheap on those, let me know. But again, I'm going to go through some more testing with this deck. I feel like there's some changes that I can do with this deck rather fast, but I still want to play the Chaos Max variant because I love the double piercing effect, and the cards that we have in this deck can make piercing battle damage possible. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to let me know with that like, subscribe to my channel, and leave your comments down below on your thoughts for this deck profile. Any constructive criticism is very appreciated, and if you are looking forward to any of my future deck profiles, I hope to see your criticism on those, because I've got a couple coming up in the future as soon as we get some other support from the future set, as well as some cards that are already released but I haven't picked up yet, but I'm really excited to get to that one. So guys, if you know which one I'm talking about, get excited. So that's YouTube. Thank you all for watching. I'm BraxtonComix, signing out.